Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we're going to be talking about Daimon and should you recruit for him on day 1 because he'll be arriving very shortly to the global server. Also, we will talk about how far should you get him. Is 1 copy enough? Is Mythic Plus enough? Or should you go all the way to Supreme Plus? So, okay, let's begin by showing you actually Daimon in action. In today's Dream Realm boss team for Crystal Beetle, he's not in any of the top performing teams. They are still going to be Bonnie and Shemira. He is not in the best Crystal Beetle team. For Thalassa, he was in the best team. If you take a look at my viewer over here, 28.4 billion damage in the best team. And the best no Daimon team hit around 27.2 billion damage, as you see here. So not even a huge damage boost. Basically, Smokey was being swapped for Daimon in order to get a higher damage output. And it did work. Daimon did a bit of damage on his own, but he was mainly here to buff up the Shemira with the 25% attack buff that he has. This was the formation, by the way, if you're wondering, for Thalassa. And this was the top team, based on the testing on the VN server. But as you see, not by a huge amount compared to someone like Smokey. Because basically, these heroes take a very similar role in the team. Smokey would be there to be buffing up Shemira, and Daimon is there to be buffing up Shemira with the Buddy Barrier. However, the Buddy Barrier actually increases Shemira's attack by more than Smokey, 25% attack buff compared to 20% of Smokey. But then there's no healing, there's no haste buff, but then Daimon contributes some of his own damage. Basically, these are all the factors which are going into play, but this is basically the difference for Thalassa. Now, for the other Dream Realm bosses, as you've already seen, Crystal Beetle, Daimon is not in the top team. For the other ones, is it possible that he will be in them for a pre-endless standpoint? I am honestly not even that sure about it. Basically, you use him when you want to just buff up your Shemira and as your sole single damage dealer. Then he might be the best option. But when you're talking about even something like Plague Creeper, probably it would be better to have Bonnie, another AoE damage dealer, in it along with Shemira rather than, for example, Daimon and Shemira together. Maybe somehow Daimon can take the place of Coco, but Daimon doesn't have as much damage reduction as Coco has. So when we actually look at it kind of critically, I am not so sure that Daimon is going to see the most use in Dream Realm. We're going to have to wait and see. And so what my safe recommendation would be is maybe hold off on day 1, wait for a whole rotation of Dream Realm bosses and see where is Daimon the top end. We'll definitely know within 8 days. But this is for pre-endless bosses. Now, when we're talking about later on in the season, when we make it to endless, that is when Daimon is actually going to take it even a step further as an option on your team. Because then not only will he be providing his attack buff, which is really good for one of your key carries, he also has a form of raw, pure damage, HP reduction damage, like Fresto, like Ludovic, HP per second damage. He has that in this drain skill because he can drain up to 250% of his attack multiplier as HP reduction damage, and that has a lot of uses for endless Dream Realm bosses. So basically, Daimon is going to be he's going to be a bit of a sub DPS. He has true damage, he has some of this HP reduction damage, but he's also going to be a role of a supporter with his attack buff, really high attack buff, and also his shielding. So that will be his role in Dream Realm teams. But the question will be, is he going to replace Smokey? Probably not, right? When you look at Smokey, Smokey will give slightly lower attack buff, but Smokey's attack buff is team-wide. So when you have more than one sole damage dealer, Smokey's attack buff of 20% is going to be better than just a single 25% of Daimon onto an ally. And when it comes to actually HP per second damage, Smokey also hits really hard in his HP per second damage. It will be a question of is this HP reduction damage of Daimon going to be high enough and cycled fast enough to out-damage Smokey, which it very well could be. And then he will be good. So definitely from his kit, Daimon is going to see use in Dream Realm. But what I want to make very clear is that he's not going to see overwhelming use. He's not going to be used in every single Dream Realm boss. Already, he's not in the best Crystal Beetle team. In Thalassa is a kind of unique circumstance. For the other bosses, I would honestly be pretty surprised if Daimon is even in the top team for 3 to 4 of the 8 different Dream Realm bosses. I think that would still be a pretty good performance. Now, when we talk about Primal Lord is going to be a very unique circumstance as well, because this Primal Lord is really favoring HP per second damage dealers, or raw HP pure damage dealers, like Daimon, like Ludovic, like Fresto. And that is why my viewer has managed to hit rank 2, which is really competitive, using these 3 basically damage dealers, Daimon, Fresto, and Ludovic. And Daimon, of course, will also be attack buffing Ludovic in the team to make it even stronger. So Daimon is definitely a good hero, but I just want to make it clear that he is not like Shemira, who is used in almost every Dream Realm boss. And he is a supporter, so like, in terms of his attack buff, so he can be replaced for something like Smokey, and you're not going to lose out that much. So even if, for example, he is in some top Dream Realm team, even running Smokey rather than him is probably not going to make that much of a difference. Like, even in Thalassa, which is basically the perfect example for him, he only was 1.2 billion damage higher compared to the no Daimon team. So is that really enough to warrant building him, like, all the way as well? I don't know. It's a question which is up to you. Either way, Daimon is still strong, and I would not recommend on you completely passing him. But at the same time, I would wait for a full rotation of Dream Realm bosses before you make your decision. You can get one copy and try to make use of him, whether it be for Primal Lord, whether it be for out of that. And the other thing is that his Supreme Plus skill is basically completely useless. Of course, if you're going to break him into PvP, you want to max him out, you want to get all of his value. But his Supreme Plus skill, when the shield expires, converts 50% of shield into healing. Like, no one really cares about this effect. I really don't think it's going to trigger that much. So, like, even if you wanted to go a bit budget, you could get 6 copies of him, get him to Mythic Plus, ascend him to Supreme, upgrade his exclusive equipment to plus 10, and then basically wait for the final 2 copies on your wish list later on in the season. That's a totally fine strategy, and in fact, I think that might be the most optimal strategy. However, of course, at the same way, if you're planning to use him in Primal Lord in Dream Realm, you'll want to max out his stats, because his stats are going to contribute to his damage. And then if you get him all the way to Supreme Plus, he gets stats from Ascension, increasing his attack, increasing his damage output. So, like, if you take him all the way to Supreme Plus, that's fine too. If you just get him at the 1 copy, he's still going to have his attack buff for one of your key carries. And I still think he's going to have some use even at that 1 copy, just for that attack buff alone. So basically, Daimon is in like a good position because you can build 1 copy, you can build Mythic Plus, you can build Supreme Plus, depending on what you want. Or, and honestly, I think wait and see for the full rotation before you even commit to it, because you don't want to commit into him and then be like, oh, he's only useful in Thalassa and Blightshroom Primal Lord, and then he's not going to be useful anymore. We need to wait and see. We need more testing of him in different Dream Realm bosses and get to learn his mechanics more. Unfortunately, we're not going to see his use in Endless in this phase. Like, his banner, I think, is going to be over before we even see Endless Dream Realm bosses. So, that is the unfortunate thing, because that is where Daimon is going to get his full potential. Dealing that HP reduction damage in Endless. And I think he's going to be even better there compared to what he is currently in pre-Endless. But we're not going to be able to see that. So those are basically my recommendations. You guys can share your opinions in the comment section down below. What do you think about Daimon? Are you planning to recruit for him? How far are you going to plan to go on for him? How long will you wait before you go in on Daimon? Let me know in the comment section. But thanks for watching, guys. That's going to be it for this one. If you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, please smash that subscribe button. Also, feel free to join my AFK Journey Discord server. There's a link to that in the description of this video. And finally, if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. There's a link to that in the description of this video and a pinned comment. This is the best way you can support me at no extra cost to you. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.